Hello, my name is Chris Hernandez, and this is my correlational research poster titled Self-Esteem in Relation to Attitudes Towards Marriage. The present study will examine the correlational relationship between participants' self-esteem and their attitudes towards marriage. Self-esteem can be described as one's own perception of their overall abilities and their confidence levels. Marriage is the legal unionization of a romantic couple. Considering these variables, it's assumed that an individual's perception on marriage may be based on their self-esteem, with past relationships, or with their parents' relationship. This assumption is why the present study exists. In researching this topic, prior research conducted by Spink and Boyer-Pennington suggests that children coming from divorced families tend to have negative long-term effects, such as prolonged lower self-esteem or behavioral issues, although this particular study has been found to vary, as other researchers suggest that there is no correlation. Additionally, research by Sheik has suggested positive correlations between self-esteem and relationship satisfaction, whereas individuals with high self-esteem are generally more satisfied in the relationship and vice versa. With that, my hypothesis is that there is a positive correlation between self-esteem and attitudes towards marriage. In this study, 369 participants were recruited through an online survey distributed by UC Merced undergraduate students as part of a capstone project. The age of participants varied widely, and out of these participants, the majority of them were identified as women and were of Hispanic ethnicity. Many other identities were also identified. There were two measures used for the study, one of which was a brief version of Rosenberg's self-esteem scale, which is a measure composed of 5 items on a 7-point Likert scale. Additionally, Wallen's attitudes towards marriage scale was used as well, which is a measure containing 11 items formed on the 7-point Likert scale. Upon closing the survey and interpreting data on SPSS, a software used to interpret statistical data, these were the results. According to Pearson's R, there was an indicated small positive correlation between self-esteem and attitudes towards marriage. What this result indicates is that people with high self-esteem will be more likely to have positive attitudes towards marriage. On the other hand, this further suggests that people with low self-esteem will be more likely to hold negative attitudes towards marriage. These findings are further supported by this visual, where the slope slightly goes upwards with self-esteem as the x-axis and attitudes towards marriage as the y-axis, indicating a small positive correlation. Summarized, this study was aimed to examine the relationship between self-esteem and attitudes towards marriage. The results indicate a small positive correlation between the two variables, suggesting that one's self-esteem will affect their attitudes towards marriage. These findings align with my original hypothesis, with the main difference being a misjudgment in how strong the correlation would have been. Similar findings in self-esteem and relationship satisfaction have been discovered in previous studies, which signal that people with high self-esteem tend to be more satisfied in their relationships, whereas individuals with low self-esteem will be more likely to display dissatisfaction. Ultimately, this study cannot be generalized due to limitations such as small sample size, shortness of measures used, and lack of indications for the self-esteem of participants at the time of taking the survey. In the future, studies may increase the sample size, increase the length of measures, adjust measures to gain more insight into the self-esteem of participants at the time of taking the survey, and dive deeper into the family structures of participants. In conclusion, in this study with 369 participants, results indicate that there was a small positive correlational relationship between self-esteem and attitudes towards marriage. This suggests that individuals with high self-esteem will be more likely to have positive attitudes towards marriage, and individuals with low self-esteem will be more likely to hold negative attitudes towards marriage. My name is Chris Hernandez, and thank you for listening to my poster presentation. Please leave any unanswered questions and I'll do my best to reply. Have a good day.